Testing. All good, mate. All good. Hey, yo, what is up, everybody? We are live. We are live right now in the newest episode of Renaissance Radio, where we talk about games like Assassin's Creed, like other things, and everything in between. Welcome, everybody. I'm sure there'll be a few of you guys in the chat once it catches up. And yeah, we're just gonna have a good time today. We're gonna have a good time. So I'm a little bit late. I'm a couple minutes late. I did say 3, and it's currently 3:04. I thought I was on time, and I was like, oh my god, I need a drink. So I went and got myself a little drink, and then I was like, oh my god, I need to go to the toilet. So I went to the bathroom, and here we are. So apologies for that, but again, we're here now. We're here. I also had to spend a little bit of time switching over my OBS, which is how you stream, basically, the software. I had to switch over to my other computer because my laptop right here, which is, I'm not filming with my laptop, but I'm resting the camera on the laptop thing, you know what I mean? Because of that, it was basically making a really loud, like, whirring sound, like, I don't know why. It's not a fan. I tried to fix it. It fixed for a while, and then it started happening again. And if anyone knows in chat what that could be, let me know. It's literally going. It's really annoying me. It's honestly so loud. Like it echoes and rattles throughout the entire house, mate. I'm not even joking. I'm just gonna quickly go do something on here just to double check that I'm live. It's good to double check, you know. It's good to check. Oh wow, it's me. Wow. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to talk about mainly today. The main topic is going to be, should you be excited pretty much for the Assassin's Creed Mirage, Assassin's Creed Japan, Assassin's Creed Hexe, and the whole Infinity thing as a whole. Should you be excited? I'm going to say, let's talk about that soon. But yeah, so, because I mean, it's a podcast. So we're going to be talking about a few things here and there, and that's the main topic that we will get into and spend most of the episode on. But there's a few things I want to kind of get through, before we do that. And then when this episode isn't currently live and it's just in the future, you know, you guys can look at the timestamps and skip to where you want to skip to if you don't care about general chit chat. I don't actually think there's anyone actually watching right now. I don't think there is. I'm pretty sure there's not, which is surprising. I think it's because I haven't put Mirage properly in the title. Should you be hyped for the future of Assassin's Creed? People are like, what? I don't care. Whereas if I said something like a Mirage gameplay coming soon, everyone would have jumped into this. But that's cool. It is what it is. It's a podcast, and you know what I always say. Yeah, it might be live, and you might not get many viewers when you're live. But when it's out for a week, that's when you get the people watching and enjoying, you know? So, it is what it is. I'm just having to think real quick what I kind of want to get into first. Well, further ado, we'll just get into it. Oh, yeah. Basically, right, this is kind of grim, you know, this is not nice, but it's not the worst. Basically, I was ordering some food the other day, and I don't know why I said ordering, so I wasn't ordering it. I went to the store near where I live, and I ordered... No, why do I keep ordering? I feel like I'm out of it today. And I bought something to eat for dinner. This was about a week or two ago. And it was chicken chow mein. Really enjoyable, you know. It was a bit of chicken, a bit of noodles, and some, like, you know, healthy stuff in between. Like leaves and stuff like that. So basically, I'm eating it. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm like, wow, I've never enjoyed a chow mein as much as I'm enjoying it right now. I was loving it. I was eating it away. And it was honestly great. It really was. And then I got to around the bottom of the bowl, and I was like, wow, that was really good. I'll just polish it off. I'll polish it off because it was that good. I'm going to finish all of it. I look at the bottom of the bowl, and I'm like, huh? I'm like, what is that? Oh, I guess what is that, a stone? What is that? And I get my fork, and I kind of scoop this thing up. I'm like, what is this? I'm looking at it on the fork. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, nah, it can't be. It can't be. I'm looking at it a bit closer. It turns out, mate, it was a snail. A snail. And it wasn't like it was long dead. It wasn't all shriveled up in its shell. It was juicy. It was slimy. It was disgusting, and I felt so sick. I honestly felt like I was gonna be sick. I had to obviously chuck it away. Not before I made a little video, because I was like, listen, if I'm gonna find a snail in my food, which is unsanitary, you know, I'm not from France. No offense to French people, obviously, but I'm not French, so I don't quite understand the enjoyment of a snail, especially in something that is, it literally said on the package, a taste of China, not a taste of France. So I was not very happy, and I was pretty disgusted that I found a snail in my food. And after I ate the whole thing as well and enjoyed it so much, it really just kind of put me off. And I honestly felt disgusted. I was looking at the snail, it was literally slimy in its shell. So I'm thinking, did it swim around? Not swim, but was it like moving around in my food when it was in my fridge and it only died when I put it in the oven? How grim is that? So did I eat all of the snail juices? Oh, nah. Oh, I hope not. I really, really hope not. Anyway, I don't really like TikTok. I find it a bit cringe, and there's some funny videos on there, but you know how it is. However, I tried to email Tesco's, the people that sold me this chicken chow mein with the snail inside, and I couldn't get a hold of them because like their email doesn't work anymore. You got to ring us, but I had to provide images, otherwise it could be lying. So what do? So I was like, if I go onto TikTok, I'll make a TikTok video. Basically, look what happens. Look what you've done to me. And I'll at Tesco's, because Tesco like to do a little bit of the promotion on their TikTok. Smeltium. Hey man, how you doing? Maybe you did eat the juices. Oh god, please don't make me think of that. I will be sick. That is disgusting. But you're probably right. Mate, that is down bad. That is down bad. Yeah, you're probably right. Oh well, I'm still here. Didn't turn into a snail. Didn't turn French. So guess I'll be alright. But let me show you guys the TikTok video I made, because it's pretty funny and you can literally see the snail. Tesco's never actually saw it and said anything, so fuck them, I guess. I'm allowed to say that because it's past 1 minute in the stream. So anyway, I'm just trying to think of how I could show you guys, because it's on my phone right there, but it's also on screen, but I don't really want to show too much of my screen. So I'm thinking what to do. Maybe I'll just point it to the camera, if you know what I'm saying. And I won't play it with sounds, just because I think it's got a copyrighted sound on it. But basically, I'll just show you kind of the gist. It will show you the gist, you know. You don't need sound. And it's funny because I chose this really like stereotypical like you know, girl's voice is like the voiceover for the text I was putting. It was really funny. But you won't hear that, but I will just show it to you and you can read it and see it. I think it's here somewhere. It's in my camera roll somewhere. Here it is. Yeah, alright guys. Let me just make sure you guys can actually see this. Let me make sure you can see this. Alright, I can see myself now, so if I was to hold it up. For you guys. Oh, you can see that easy. Alright, ready? I found a snail in my food. It was in my bowl. It was after I ate the whole thing. Look, mate. Look at that. Oh, bro. That is disgusting right now. That is literally in my food. And if you look close, you can see the sliminess. Bro, I know it's a bit blurry because I didn't get it up on screen. But still, you get the idea. It was awful. It was so bad. And I honestly felt down bad. I don't think I can eat any sort of chow mein ever again. I don't think I can. Because, honestly, mate, it's just disgusting, isn't it? Well, we're going to move on from that. I had to tell somebody. I had to tell someone, you know. Get it off my chest. I also wanted to talk about... I was going to talk a little bit about the new Hogwarts game. Because there's been a lot of chat about the latest Hogwarts Legacy game. So, I wanted to have a little talk about that. I wanted to talk about, like, you know, there's a lot of people saying you shouldn't be playing it because it is, you know, it supports J.K. Rowling and she basically doesn't support trans rights and stuff like that. There's been a lot of potential boycotting of the game, but a lot of people have been playing it, and I wanted to kind of talk about that, like, not too deep. I don't want to make it too deep, but I just want to kind of ask your guys' opinion on that, if you kind of staying up to date with it, and also, yeah, just kind of talking about my own opinion. Now, it's a tricky one because, at the end of the day, from the tweets J.K. Rowling has tweeted, retweeted, and things she says, and she's not very, she is very sort of open with her beliefs of this stuff. And her beliefs kind of go against the norm, go against the mainstream, if you will. She's very, she's seemingly not for trans people's rights. Not in the way that, we are, at least. And because of this backlash, people are saying, well, we don't want to support J.K. Rowling anymore because, she doesn't support us and our rights, so why should we support her? That's basically what it is. And then, obviously, this new Hogwarts Legacy game comes out. Obviously, she didn't sit at the computer, working away and making the game. She didn't have anything to do with it. However, because it was, I guess you could say, within her universe, it's then within some of her rights, and she gets royalties, and she probably makes a hefty wage off of the sales of this game. So, a lot of people are saying don't play it or don't buy the game, because if you do buy the game, she is going to profit. And I get that. But, the thing that I kind of see is there's tons of people that made that game. I don't know how many, but probably hundreds of people that made Hogwarts Legacy. And, I think from what I've read, it might not be true, it might be true, it probably is true, that, there's trans people who made the game. And if you're not buying that game, because of J.K. Rowling, you're also not supporting the people that made the game. And so kind of the way I see it is, if you want to play the game, you want to buy the game, it looks good, or you want to support the developers, then, buy the game. Don't let yourself not just because J.K. Rowling isn't gonna, you don't want her to profit, which I get, but it's like, at this point, she is a multi-millionaire. You not supporting this game isn't going to do anything for her. She isn't going to care, and she's going to continue her beliefs. So all you're really doing is damaging the developers who actually need to have a game that sells well, this being their first big AAA game as well. They want this to do well. And if it doesn't, then that could be detrimental to the actual developers. So the way I see it is, buy the game if you want to buy it, and you'll be supporting the developers, Either way, whether you buy it or don't buy it, you're not really going to be an indication on J.K. Rowling's radar. You know what I mean? Either way. She's too busy focusing on anti-trans rights, which is a shame, but that's the way it is, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. I haven't actually played the game yet. I haven't bought it. The way I am with games these days is like, unless I'm seriously interested, and I've been waiting for this game for a long time, and it really piques my interest, then I don't usually buy it. I might buy it in the sale a few months down the line or something, but I don't buy it day one unless I'm really interested. Like, obviously, I'm going to be buying AC Mirage day one, obviously, because, I'll be making content on it. But even if I wasn't making content, maybe if I wasn't making YouTube videos, would I buy it day one? Probably, but maybe I'd buy it a week later, you know what I mean? So it's like, unless a game is seriously interesting to me, then I'm not really too bothered about buying it straight away, because I love playing video games, I play them a lot, but I don't play them anywhere near as much as I used to when I was younger. I do a lot of other things, I do social things, I work, I, do leisure things that aren't just games. Like, I like to watch TV shows, I like to just listen to music, do loads of stuff. So, when I buy a game and I know I'm about to invest a lot of time into it, I want to make sure it's something that it's worth investing my time in. I think that's why I go back to a lot of older games, because I know those older games have served me well. I really like them. I know I'm not going to be wasting my time there. It's a safe bet. Whereas with a new game you've never played before, it's more of a risk, I suppose. If it's with a trusted developer, maybe it's not a risk. Like when Starfield comes out, for example, from Bethesda, that's probably not going to be a risk. That's going to be probably a really good game. Just based off of Skyrim, based off of the Fallout games. Okay, maybe not Fallout 76, but I'd say, maybe potentially there's even less risk with Starfield now because they don't want to make the same mistake again. So with games like that, you know, I know I'm going to buy, I'm really looking forward to, I'm going to buy. Same with the Jedi, Star Wars Jedi Survivor that's coming out in a few months. That looks so good. I really enjoyed the first one. I love Star Wars. Probably one of my favourite sort of media's entertainment things, you know what I mean? It's one of my favourite things. So, of course, I'm going to buy that probably day one or around that. But with Hogwarts Legacy, going back to that, it's just a game that I liked Harry Potter, I guess. I like the look of the game, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't appeal to me in the way of like, oh, I need to play this. I almost thought about playing it, but then I thought, you know what, I've got better things to spend my money on right now. And I'm sure I'll buy it at some point, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, I won't be buying it right away, but maybe I will in the future, you know? And I don't really know much about it yet. I don't know whether the story's good. I know the open world's good because I've seen it, and I know graphics are good, but I don't know how the story is. I don't know really how the gameplay is and stuff like that. So watch a few reviews. Maybe I will. Also, guys, for any of you watching right now, if there are any, if you want to ask me any questions about Assassin's Creed Mirage, about whatever, let me know in the chat and I will get to your stuff. You know, we are going to get to our main topic, and any questions you have about Assassin's Creed, you know, we can talk about that. We can talk about that. Or any questions in general. It doesn't have to be Assassin's Creed, but I just know that most of you guys are here for that. So, but you can talk in the chat, say what you want, really. This is a learning curve for me because no one's really watching right now because I didn't put Mirage in the title. But, you know, I don't want to always put AC Mirage in the title. Sorry, I got a text. Yeah, I don't want to always put AC Mirage in the title. I don't want to always kind of title the stuff the same thing because, you know, you got to have a bit of variety here and there, and maybe that'll get less views. Maybe there's less people watching right now, but, you know, oh, there is a new person watching right now, but you know what I'm saying, Oh, I didn't get a cup. Well, I have a cup here, but it's already got water in it. I've got a lot of cups here. Well, I should probably wash up these cups. This is clean. This is a clean cup. It's just I didn't get one from upstairs, and it's just a little plastic one. Anyway, I watched the first episode of You last night on Netflix, mate. That is a very good show. I mean, I've only seen the first episode, but I'm looking forward to carrying on watching that series. You know, it just gets the tone real good. You know, it gets it so right, I think, and you know, just showing kind of people in the world and the way this generation is. It's just such a good job of doing that. Better than anything else, I think. Star Peeler. How many games are in Assassin's Creed? Well, it depends what you're talking. You're talking mainline titles, or you're talking side titles. If we're just going about mainline titles, God, off the top of my head, I don't know, but we can list it. AC1, AC2, AC Brotherhood, AC Revelations, AC3, which is 5. AC Black Flag, AC Rogue, AC Unity, AC Syndicate, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. AC Origins, AC Odyssey, and AC Valhalla, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then Mirage would be the 13th, I guess. All games, mate, that's going to take a while. I don't know. We can look it up, I guess, because there's a load of side games. We'll have a look in a sec. Jorm the Worm, how you doing, my friend? You're back again. I don't know if I should, but I can say for sure that I'm hyped for the future of AC. And that is what we're going to be getting into in a minute. You might be able to hear the fizziness. Yeah. Oh, also, by the way, guys, this podcast is now on Spotify. I did say it the other week, but I'm saying it again. It's linked in the description of this video, live stream. It's also linked in the corner by my banner on my channel. If you guys want to go and listen on Spotify, you know, maybe you're watching this live and you're like, I gotta go now, but I'll listen to the rest later. But maybe you're in the car. Maybe you want to listen to the rest on Spotify. You can go do that if you want. Up to you, the options there. You know. I'm planning on playing all of them. Oh, okay, so you're asking me about all of the AC games because have you not played any before, or are you just planning on playing some new ones? I'm guessing that is why. Well, what I'll do is I will get us up a massive list of every Assassin's Creed game off of Google.com. Hang on a second. Hang on. Assassin's Creed, all games. Is this going to be all side games? It looks like it is. Oh my god, there's a crazy amount. No, that's all like special editions and stuff and bundles. That doesn't count. Here we go. Sorry, I'll get the screen up for you guys in a minute. I just want to get it up first for myself. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find a list for you. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Oh no, that's main games. Oh no. Yay. I'll just say it to you guys because that list is shit. Basically, there is obviously the main games, which I said. Then you got the the Chronicles games, I think they were called, which were the side-scroller ones, which was, I think there was like 3 or 4 of those, 3 of them. Then you got the real side games, like the PSP exclusive I made a video on not too recently, Assassin's Creed Bloodlines, which if you want to check that video out, I do suggest it. It's pretty funny. And then there's games like Assassin's Creed Discovery on the DS. You know, you got little ones like that. Assassin's Creed Liberation on the PS Vita, which later came as a HD remaster on PS3, I think, or something like that. And then it came, obviously, to PS4 and Xbox One via the AC3 remastered, I'm pretty sure. So there's loads of different stuff you can check out. Not all of them are good, but not all of them are bad. Some are really good, some are really bad. It's the series. When a series is as big as Assassin's Creed is now, you know, you're bound to have games that are good, that are bad, that are in between, that are mediocre, you know what I mean? So, you know, I would kind of if I'm going to recommend you some Assassin's Creed games, you said you're almost finished Valhalla. If I can recommend you games that you haven't played, I don't know what you've played and what you haven't, but I would recommend you just the first few games. Like I'd say start with AC1, but it's not a it is a recommended, but it's not a requirement. I don't think to get into the series properly because it's old. You know, a lot of people don't like the gameplay because it's kind of outdated, you could say, which I get. I wouldn't say it is outdated, but I get. But what I would say is start with Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, 3 perhaps, play them in order and enjoy them there and kind of see where you want to go with the series from there. Brandon, how you doing, man? Hey, man, good morning from the west coasts of Canada. Oh, nice. I've never been to Canada. I really want to go. I've never been. I know my grandparents went to Canada. Gosh, it must have been like 10 years ago now or something, but they did go, and I saw a lot of pictures, a lot of videos and stuff. It looks pretty amazing, to be honest, you know, with like a lot of mountains and stuff like that. I don't know whereabouts exactly they went, but it looked very nice. So yeah, good to see you. Star says, I need Syndicate and Unity. Again, I would recommend playing again Assassin's Creed 2 to Revelations. Those are my most recommended ones because in my opinion those were the best ones, you know. And then from there I'd say play Unity and Syndicate. But that's just my opinion, you know. You do what you want to do. I didn't like Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I liked it when it came out, when I was like 15 or whatever. But you know, when I got a bit older, I played all of, like about a year or two ago, I played from 1 all the way to Valhalla in quick succession. You know, I played them all, I timed it right for when Valhalla came out, I did everything, and I played them all, like, one after the other. So I got a much more sort of retrospective look on these games, and I was older now, I kind of understood what I liked about games more as I got older, and as I played Syndicate, it was the only, well, it wasn't the only one, or Odyssey as well, but Syndicate, I couldn't get through it. I couldn't even finish it. You know, mainly it was the sort of writing I didn't like. It was very sort of kind of corny jokes, and it was a lot of like sort of, me personally, and I know this isn't everyone, but I kind of, I know I'm a bit of a nerd for like good writing and stuff in games. I like it when people allude to things, or there's things in between the lines that you have to figure out. I like that stuff, and I felt with Syndicate it was kind of the opposite of that. It was kind of like, we're going to go and do this to do this. Oh, if you look over there, we're going to do this. And it was like, I could have figured that out myself, and I kind of felt a bit of like it was kind of treating me as a child when I was playing. The world was amazing. Ubisoft always make amazing worlds, as I've said. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't really like Syndicate's story, and the characters kind of just pissed me off, not gonna lie. But I get people like it. That's just my opinion. Brandon says Syndicate was pretty good. I even played the DLC. Was disappointed that you couldn't get his outfit after you beat the game. To be fair, I never played the DLC. Just because didn't play it. Hi, did you like Origins or hate it like Odyssey? No, I liked Origins. The way I see Origins is, because again, I replayed it again when I was replaying all of the games not too long ago, so again, I have that sort of better view on it. I liked Origins. I thought it was a good story, a good origin story to the series. I do think that, and I still stand by that. With gameplay, it wasn't so far into that sort of RPG territory as kind of Odyssey brought around. It was kind of just leaning into that, It was a new format for the series. It was a massive open world, this and that, but I don't think it was as egregious as Odyssey and then Valhalla. And, could the world have been a bit smaller, a bit more packed with stuff, not far apart? Yeah, it could have been. But to be fair, there was stuff to do a lot more than there was in, Odyssey and Valhalla. And I mostly just really like the story. So I do like Origins. Obviously, parkour was pretty awful. You couldn't really jump far. You couldn't really do much. It was just a bit bare bones, as the last few games have been. But aside from that, I thought, Assassin's Creed Origins was a pretty solid game. Could it have been better? Sure. You can say that about any game though, can't you? It could have been better. But I did like it. It's just sort of the only thing that I think puts a lot of people off of Origins now that don't like, Odyssey and Valhalla is you can clearly see how the success of, and I know a lot of people said this before, but that's because it's true. The success of Origins obviously clearly paved the way for Odyssey and Valhalla, so it makes you kind of see Origins as kind of like if you weren't around, if you didn't exist, these games wouldn't exist. So it's kind of like that. Excuse me, I have a cold. But yeah, so I do like the game, but then it does remind me of kind of, if that game wasn't so successful, or if they didn't do it like that, then Odyssey and Valhalla probably wouldn't be exist in the way that they do. I find it interesting how there's a lot of people in the chat now, but they didn't come in for a while. I wonder why that is. Maybe my notifications didn't come out to you guys for maybe it was delayed. I know YouTube does that sometimes. Brandon says, I played Liberation on AC3 Remastered on the Xbox. It was pretty decent. Oh, so you have played a few of the games then. Star says, right now I'm playing Rogue. Oh, and you've beat Brotherhood and Revelations. Okay, I didn't know whether you guys had played all of them or what when you were asking about it. So fair enough, yeah. Origins was a great RPG great for RPG standards. Getting to explore ancient Egypt was pretty cool. Plus, the landscape was stunning. Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking, I'm agreeing with you with the world, again, it's always, I keep saying this, but it's true, Ubisoft always, I've got to praise them on their open world design, you can't really complain about it. Even with Odyssey, it was a great open world. Okay, it was a great open world visually, but, it wasn't a great open world in the way of, content within that world. But you can't complain and say it's not a beautiful world, Poor Altair lost his wife and didn't even get to tell her goodbye. I know. So sad. So sad. Spoilers. Sorry, guys. I tried playing Valhalla but couldn't bring myself to finish it as it was so boring. Yeah, I mean, the way I had it with... Oh, Eden. Hello, mate. Hello, man. Or girl. Eden could be a girl or a guy. I don't know. And please don't be offended there. But I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Daniel said, yeah, you tried it, but you couldn't bring yourself to finish it. The first time I played it, I feel like I could get through it and I did enjoy it because of how I didn't know what was coming next. I didn't know what was coming next. So, it was that intrigue that kept pushing me forwards. Whereas when I tried to replay it again over Christmas, I didn't even get 5 hours in because I knew where it was going, and I thought, but then I'm going to have to do this for ages, and I'm going to have to do this for ages. Oh, man, nah, I can't be doing this. So I didn't bother. So it's like, does that mean it was a good game even when I played it the first time, or was it just my intrigue pushing me forwards, I don't know. I would say probably I'd have to have a think about that, but I'm going to say, if a game has no replayability value because I can't you know, even bear the thought of playing through certain parts of the game, probably wasn't that good of a game. Story in Valhalla is a bit on the low side for me. Yeah, I get you. It can be. You know, there's good writing, but then, as I said in my, if Assassin's Creed had to be an RPG, my ideal game, I literally wrote in that video, or I said in that video, I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was like, good writing in the midst of a tale of filler, something like that. Basically, I'm saying there is really good writing in that game, but because the game is so big, it's few and far between. You don't really even get to see that stuff because of how, you know, there's all this boring stuff that I have to do in between all of that good stuff, which is a shame, because if the game was about 20 hours, I think it would be amazing. Sure, there's no assassins really. Sure, it kind of disrespects the... Okay, I'm not going to say amazing. I'm not going to say amazing because the groundworks of what is Assassin's Creed is not really in that game, but it could have been really, really good, I would say, as a game if it was shorter. Eden, I've never played the older AC games such as AC2 Brotherhood and such. Should I buy the Ezio collection or should I buy the game separately? Yeah, just buy the Ezio collection. There's not much point in buying them separately at this point. With the Ezio collection, they are, I mean, they're not too different, but the graphics they're of a higher resolution, you know, for well, it's last gen now, isn't it? But, you know, for PS4 and Xbox One and stuff, you buy it all together. You can probably get it on sale at this point for quite cheap. So there's not really much point in buying them separately. Just get the Ezio collection. That's 3 great games. 2 Brotherhood and Revelations. The three best games in the series, in my opinion. And just a great, you know, overall overarching story. It's just, you'll have a really good time playing them, 100%. I can definitely recommend those games. So yeah, that's how I would recommend playing them. Anyway, I think we're just going to get into kind of the main topic at this point, because we have been going for half hour. I mean, I did write a few notes. I don't think there's anything I really want to say, though, about all the other stuff. Yeah, we're just going to get into it. Basically, I just want to kind of talk about, again, as this video is titled, should you be hyped for Assassin's Creed, well, the future of Assassin's Creed, the series as a whole, and that includes Mirage, that includes the Infinity sort of live service, which will have Japan, where I see red, Hexe, and games in the future that are unannounced. And I guess we can throw in there the mobile game, and we can throw in there maybe other things. Why not? So, the approach I want to take this is, it is exciting at the notion of something new. It's exciting at what we see is coming, but how do we approach that? How do we approach that excitement? How do we, you know, decide to go forwards with that? Do we get really excited on the risk of, again, just being let down and being like, why was I excited? Obviously it was going to be bad. Or do we get excited and be optimistic and be open-minded and be like, I think it could be good? And again, that's for Mirage, but that's also for all the games leading up in the future and the unannounced ones. So, the way I see it personally, for me, is I like to say that I am an open-minded person. I don't like to be skeptical. In life, I'm a very optimistic person. When it comes to video games, I am less so, just because of, you know, things that have happened in the past with video games, especially Ubisoft, where they say this game, like, remember Valhalla? They kind of did say, oh, this game is going to be a proper good return to AC. They said social self is coming back, you get to blend in the crowd with your cloak, the assassins are back, and then we played it, and it wasn't really that, you know? So, people were let down, and I guess I was let down, you know? And it's like, how many more times do I want to be let down? Get excited and let down, excited and let down. The only reason I say this is more of a debate now, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, is because of this new Infinity Live service. This is something new. This is something we haven't seen before. So it makes me think this could be different. As well as that, you know, I don't know if it ever will happen. But what if, for example, Ubisoft gets bought out by a much better parent company or something like that, you know? Because we've heard potential struggles within Ubisoft. I keep talking about this, but, you know, the loss of investors, the loss of, or the lower sales, the loss of money. As well as that, the awful, and I feel very sorry to the people that had to deal with it, but you know, the awful sexual misconduct allegations and things like that. That's not a good look for a company. And I've heard just from other people talking about on YouTube, like people have been talking about rumors that they might get bought out. Does that mean it's going to happen? No, take that with a pinch of salt. But you know, who's to say that won't happen? And basically what I'm saying is, no one knows what's going to happen in the future. Things can do a 180, things cannot do a 180, things can go in a different direction. You never know what's going to happen, so that's why I always like to stay open-minded. That being said, I'm not going to forget the letdown I've had in the past, and I'm not going to let my judgment be clouded by pure excitement. So let's start with Mirage. And we can work from there. You guys probably know how I feel about Mirage. You know, I am excited. I'm very excited. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Do I think it's going to be a good game? I don't know. So how does that make me feel when it comes to being hyped for Mirage? I think it's okay to get excited, to hype yourself up. It's fun. Why not? You know, Star in the chat, I can call you Star, says, I can't wait to play Mirage. You're excited, we're all excited. But it's like, how far do we let our excitement go, I guess? Also, is my face really shaded on one side? I have a light thing here, but maybe I can move it around a little bit. Hang on a minute. Let me just double check. Look at myself. Is that better? Or is that better? I think probably that's better, right? Yeah. Anyway, let's get back into this. You know, I think Mirage is a good example for the series as a whole and the way to see it. You want to be excited, but you don't want to be ecstatic. You don't want to be giddy with excitement, and that's all you can see. Just because, you know, you just want to calm yourself a little bit and approach things from all directions, because, you know, as much as Ubisoft like to say, this is a return to Assassin's Creed, this is going to be a good game. Obviously, they're going to say that. You know, it's up to us to decide whether that's the case or not, though, when we play it. And while we have not seen the game at all, you know, it's very hard, actually impossible for us to say whether it's going to be good or not. So sure, you can get excited, and I am excited, I'm there with you. But I like to just, you know, hold your horses a little bit. That's what I like to do, and just say, hang on a minute. Let's just have a think about this, because the last, 6 games have not been kind of amazing, so why is this one going to all of a sudden be really good? It can be, it really could be, and I hope it will. But let's just think about this. Is it really going to be? Or is it, you know, has it gone so far that the series has lost its identity at this point? Can it bring it back? Yeah, but I just want to be excited, but be a little bit cautious, you know? I want to be hyped. I want to jump on that hype train and go chuk for a little bit. But then I might just take a little break and be like, alright, hype train, stop me off here. I'm going to go get some lunch and I'll jump back on later. You know what I'm trying to say here? Because I don't. No, I do. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I want to reserve myself a little bit. And I think that's kind of the healthy way to go about it. Because then if the game comes out and you're like, fuck me, bro, this is trash, then you're not going to be as disappointed as you were if you were like, it's going to be amazing, and you're like, you can only see it being good, because then you're going to be so let down, and it's just not fair, you know, especially after you've paid all the money for it. So I think to stop yourself from being, and to stop myself from being severely disappointed and feeling down bad, I like to remind myself, alright, this could be really, really bad, and if it is, that's okay, that's fine, it is what it is. It's not okay, but it's got to be okay with me, for me not to be just sad. You know what I mean? So, you know what they say, have low expectations, and then you will probably just be pleasantly surprised. Even if it's then mediocre, you had low expectations, so you're still going to be pleasantly surprised, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying settle for mediocrity, I'm not saying settle for that, because if you pay them money, you shouldn't have to settle with something that isn't great, or at least good. But at least what I'm trying to say is, you know, just reserve your expectations and your judgments. Or no, don't reserve your judgment, reserve your expectations so that you aren't going to be really potentially sad. And then if it's amazing, then oh my god, it's amazing, and I'm so happy. That's great, and then you can be gassed up, bro. You know what I mean? Brandon says, I don't like the way Ubi restricted the combat on horseback. Oh, right, sorry, I thought you were saying something about Mirage. Yeah, no, we can go back and talk about that in a bit. But yeah, no, I'm with you there. But I'm not going to go back onto that topic right away just because we got to keep things moving, you know. But, where does it say how long I've been going for on my screen? I don't know, it said it earlier. Anyway, what was I saying? What was I saying, man? The series as a whole. Now, you can also lean into that same mentality with the future games such as, you know, AC Red, AC Hexe, because if you really think about it, we haven't really seen much more about those games. Really, we've seen a cinematic trailer. Sure, the Mirage trailer has been much more detailed when it comes to plot, let's say, which is, again, not very detailed because we haven't really seen anything. We've seen a concepts trailer. You know, which, you know, a CGI trailer. But, you know, sorry, my eye is hurting. But as far as, you know, cinematic trailers, that's all we've seen for every game that's been announced. So you can have, basically what I'm saying is you can have the same mentality with Japan, with Hexe, with the Infinity service as a whole, you know? And I think when it comes to an Infinity service, the reason I'm excited is because, you know, a little bit excited, is because it means a lot of possibility for different types of Assassin's Creed game. You know, maybe Mirage won't be the last, if it is, the last, you know, classic AC game. Maybe there will be more, especially if it sells well, because Infinity, I suppose, gives the developers the opportunity for different types of games, because it's this live service hub where you can have these different types of games. And there's rumours that Hexe is going to be a survival horror type Assassin's Creed game, which is very interesting. Also, that I talked about that in a video on my channel, which I was going to say is linked in the description. No, it isn't, but it's on my channel somewhere. You can go find it. It's not too far down. So that's interesting, you know, and that is what's exciting, you know. But at the same time, we know for a fact, due to the sales of Valhalla, the sales of Odyssey, there's going to be way more Assassin's Creed bloated, empty RPG games. It's just the way it's going to be from now on. Assassin's Creed Codename Red, the Japan game, we know, I think it's developed, I'm pretty sure it's developed by the Odyssey team, and we know it's just going to be, another RPG. I think they've already said that. It's going to be an RPG. It's going to most likely be not for me. I was going to say shit, but no, it might be good, but it's not for me. It's not for me. I don't like I don't like Odyssey. Sorry, I was calling it Origins for a minute. I don't like Odyssey. And I've said all the reasons why I don't like it in my... if Assassin's Creed had to be an RPG, what would I do? I've said about why I don't like it in that video, so I won't repeat myself. But, you know, there will be games that we like. There will be games that we don't like. And, you know, they will then probably go into Assassin's Creed Infinity once they've got a few different types of genre within that Infinity hub out. You know, they'll probably look at the sales of each different type of AC game and say, all right, well, you know, let's say the classic Assassin's Creed games sell well, but they don't sell as well as the RPG games. And that survival horror game was so different that it actually sold really badly. So what we're going to do is we're never going to make a survival horror game again. And we're going to make maybe a few more classic Assassin's Creed games here and there to see if we can boost sales. But if not, we're just going to focus mainly on the RPG stuff. So, you know, I feel that they will look at this Infinity Hub as kind of a ways to, you know, track statistics and stuff like that. And not that, you know, Live Service Hub can really do that better than just selling games in general. I don't think. I don't really know. But yeah, I do think that this could either spell a major overhaul of the way they make the games, which could be a good thing, or it could just kind of make them double down on why they should keep doing RPGs. Maybe they do something so different, and obviously it doesn't do as well as an RPG game straight away because they haven't done, again for an example, a survival horror game. They haven't done that before with the Assassin's Creed series. So of course it's not going to sell as well as it will an RPG game straight away. But maybe over time, it will start to sell really well and then have a more niche sort of demand for it. But the thing with Ubisoft is they don't really care about niche anymore. They care more about the mainstream, hitting the mainstream, because that means as many sales as they can make. The issue with making a game revolve around mainstream is you're trying to appeal to everyone. And I know, I'm sure you guys have heard people say this before, but it is true. So I will repeat it. If it's making something mainstream, you're trying to appeal to as many people as possible. When you try to appeal to as many people as possible, you're then taking away what made people interested in that game in the first place, because maybe what the dedicated fans of Assassin's Creed, let's not even talk about Assassin's Creed, let's make up a pretend series and let's call it Starfighters. There was a series called Starfighters. This is my pretend make-believe example that you can apply for Assassin's Creed. Starfighters started off as a game where you would fly through space, and basically you would fight other starfighters. You'd fight them. You'd be a spaceship fighting a spaceship, and that was what the game was, and that was the groundworks of it. And in between this Starfighters game, you know, it was always about starfighters. The game was called Starfighters. But, you know, behind that, the backdrop of this amazing, you know, Starfighter story was space. It placed you in space because that was the best place to tell this Starfighter story. You weren't just destroying starfighters and that was it. You were destroying starfighters because this enemy of this planet was trying to invade your planet and you were defending your planet, let's say. And that was the story. Great story, great series. But then as the series of Starfighters went along, they thought to themselves, well, Star Wars is pretty popular, and a lot of kids like Star Wars just because of the flashing lights, the flying around in space, and the robots and stuff. So what we'll do is, we're going to start changing the series of Starfighters, so you kind of, instead of fighting for a cause in your Starfighter, you're actually just fighting them for the sake of blowing things up, because kids love that. And you know what we're going to do now? We're actually going to make, instead of putting you in a sick galaxy to explore, we're going to put you in the whole universe. The whole universe. And what you can do is, there'll be a few Starfighters to destroy here and there, but, you know, maybe one per galaxy because it's such a big place. And we're not going to put things everywhere because that's going to take time. So then this Starfighter series tried to become a lot more mainstream where, you know, lots of people like flashy lights, but less people kind of understand good writing and the nuance of the Starfighter story and the fight they fight. They don't care about that. Most of the mainstream just want to sit back, relax, and chop some heads off, but no, not chop some heads off. They just want to blow up some Starfighters, man. So they try to appeal more mainstream, but then these major Starfighter diehard fans that kind of grew up with this series and loved it for why they loved it, they don't see that anymore, and they think, well, why am I blowing up this starship? What did he do to me? You know, he's not the one against my planet. Why am I fighting him? And it's just, it's broad. There's no reason why the people who started with the Starfighter series will want to carry on with it anymore, because it's lost its identity. I think you know what I'm trying to say. Assassin's Creed is Starfighters. Oh my god, yeah, you get what I'm saying. Sounds a lot like Starfield. Yeah, maybe something in my subconscious brain was like, let's connect the dots there. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is, Assassin's Creed tried to become so mainstream, and it kind of worked, that it kind of lost its identity of why people liked it in the first place. And I forgot what my point was here, to be honest with you. I guess with Infinity, what I'm saying is that could happen even more, with this Infinity Hub being a thing, and then basically having the excuse to make any type of Assassin's Creed game they want now. They might just lean more heavily into that and keep it mainstream. And when the niche things don't really work out, they say, well, of course the niche stuff isn't going to sell as well as the mainstream stuff, just because that's kind of the way it works. But we're going to use that as an excuse to tell ourselves we're going to carry on making the mainstream sort of broad stuff that tries to appeal to everyone. You know, people are individual, you know. I like my RPGs, you know. I like my Assassin's Creed games. Two different things, by the way. Well, not anymore, but it used to be. I like these types of things. A lot of people I hang out with don't like that stuff. A lot of people I hang out with play FIFA, play just Call of Duty multiplayer, play a bit of GTA Online. I mean, I like a bit of GTA Online, but you know what I'm saying? They like that stuff. They don't really play games that much anyway. And me, into the nerdy things I'm into, they don't quite get it. But imagine if then a game that I like made a new game, and it was like, well, we kind of want to appeal to your friends too that don't get it. So we'll probably put a football pitch in the open world where you can just like play football, because like they'll like that. And then maybe we'll add like a racetrack next to it where you can race your F1 cars, because like, you know what I mean? This is exaggerated, but like, you know, what I'm saying is my friends don't like my games because that's not for them, and that's okay. And if it was for them, I probably wouldn't like my games, you know? So you have different types of games for different types of niches, for different types of things people like, and that's what makes storytelling good, games good, stuff like that. So when a company tries to you know, appeal to everybody, they're basically then saying, well, we want every type of person to enjoy this, but then you just don't really appeal to anybody, because you make a game that it's so broad and so kind of bare bones and open in the way of, well, let's get everybody enjoying it, that there's not much of an experience there. There's nothing unique about it, and, you know, the stuff that you like isn't really in that. So then nobody ends up liking it, and that's kind of what happened. I mean, you could say everybody loved Valhalla and Odyssey because they sold so well, and I get that. So well, let's not really talk about that in particular, but I feel like in general that's what some, Ubisoft a lot, but a lot of companies start to try and do to make as most money as possible. So, you know, I feel like the series of Infinity, again, they could use Infinity as a ways to lean in on this, to, well, let's make it as broad as possible, as mainstream as possible. Live services are pretty mainstream right now, you know what I mean? So, but I don't want to be the guy that is like the doomsayer, whatever you call it, because I do want to be optimistic and say this also gives us the opportunity to have loads of different unique Assassin's Creed games that can be done specifically to tell a new Assassin's Creed story, but still keep what made Assassin's Creed, which is Assassins versus Templars, which is philosophy of why they fight each other, which is good character development, which is that's the stuff, you know? That's the stuff. So maybe a survival horror could do a really good job of that, because there's a lot of tension in a survival horror game. There's a lot of tension in the Assassin's Templar conflict, you know, so they can do things like that. Let's say they make a, I don't know, like a Telltale style game, you know, like how they did the Telltale's The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, stuff like that. Oh my god, sorry. I'm getting really bad indigestion from drinking soft drinks. I don't really know why I do it. So, you know, Telltale games, for those of you that don't know, are those sort of interactive story games where you're not running around and killing people. It's an interactive story, so you'll choose what to say, you'll move around a little bit, and you'll interact with objects. You know, it's an interactive story. Maybe they want to then make an Assassin's Creed within that style, and that could probably be doing that could do a really good job of telling a good Assassin's Creed story. So I'm very much open to this Infinity service being a ways to, you know, tell good Assassin's Creed stories within new formats, I guess. So basically what I think you should kind of see this as is be excited for all of the possible opportunities that we will get from this live service, but don't be closed to the fact that this could just be another reason for Ubisoft to, or it could turn into another reason for Ubisoft to be like, we're making RPGs. You know what I mean? And they're not really RPGs. They're kind of, you know what I say, RPG style. Because they don't have the real level of depth that real RPGs have. Brandon says, we've been asking for an Assassin's Creed set in Japan for years, and it's finally happening. I'm actually looking forward to this game. I just hope it won't suck. Like, yeah, I get you, man. And the thing is, like, you know, Assassin's Creed Japan has been asked for, requested since, you know, since back in the Ezio days. It's been requested for a long time, and a lot of people are disappointed, to say the least, that it's going to be an Odyssey style game. Now, you know, as I was saying, Assassin's Creed can be told, an Assassin's Creed story can potentially be told in many different game formats. So why can't an RPG be that? And I get that, but you know, it's got to be a good RPG. You know, I in my opinion, and you feel free to disagree with me. You know, in my opinion, Odyssey and Valhalla were just not that good of an RPG, and the story was not that good. You know, and it was kind of boring. And that's not what I want to play in a long 100+ hour RPG. So, you know, oh, hey, Ashy. Hey, man, not missing the stream today. Respect, brother, respect. Or sister. I don't know why I do this. I'm not trying to offend you guys. I think to myself, if I was talking in a chat and somebody said man or woman, would I be offended? I don't know. I'm just trying not to offend everybody, because at the end of the day, I don't actually know whether you guys are male or female. You're probably all male, let's be honest, just because in my analytics it says I am 90% male audience. But, you know, there's a few women here and there. And when you guys go by your profile names, that could be man or woman. I don't know. Who am I to judge? Anyway, I'm going to stop offending everybody. I'm very sorry. And we're going to carry on. Forget I said anything. What was I saying? Frick, bro. What was I saying? That's what happens when I distract myself. I don't know. Well, there's a few more of you guys in today, you know, in here now. So I will remind you guys, you can also check out this stream, this oh my god, what's going on with me? This stream, this podcast on Spotify. You can also check that out if you want to come back to this stream or re-listen to episodes in the future and you don't want to have to bother about looking at the screen. You can listen on Spotify if that's your thing. Linked in the description and in my channel banner. Oh, mate, I really lost my train of thought. Well, okay, well, let's just go into, oh, I was talking about RPGs. You know, Assassin's Creed can be a good RPG. Assassin's Creed story can be told in a good, told well in an RPG game, I think, but it's got to be done well, and so far, hasn't really been done well. The reason I don't really mention Origins is because okay, you can say Origins is an RPG, but I don't really see it as an RPG. I see it more of just a big action adventure with RPG elements, you know? I wouldn't call it an RPG. That's why I mostly mention Odyssey and Valhalla, just because those were the biggest and most leaning into RPG. So, you know, fuck me, bro. Why am I losing my train of thought right now? So much on my mind right now. It can be done well, and I think Infinity can potentially lean into this. And I'm not saying Japan, that's what it was. I'm not saying Assassin's Creed Codename Red is going to be bad. The only reason I think it might be bad is because it's the next game by the AC Odyssey team, you know? It's the next game by them, and we saw how well Odyssey sold, which might just tell the developers of Odyssey, well, it sold well, so we're just going to do the exact same thing. The same format, the same way we made that game. And it's literally going to be a reskinned Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You know, you could be playing as a shinobi, but he could be a funny shinobi. You know what I mean? He could be really funny. And he's not really funny, though. You know, he's trying to be funny, but the jokes don't land. And that's pretty much the whole game, kind of like it was with Cassandra. You know, this shinobi, this ninja, he has, or she has, a load of great quips that they say. You know, they go, "Don't get up on my account." And that's what they say before they assassinate their targets. They creep up and they go, "Don't get up on my account." And then they assassinate them, and that's their thing. Basically, I'm just taking a piss right now. But, you know, the game could literally just be another Odyssey. It could be full of kind of corny dialogue. You could be, like, shagging every character you meet left, right, and center. You could be doing all that stuff. And that just could be the game. Now, that will be disappointing to people that have been waiting for a proper gritty, you know, Assassin's Creed story set within feudal Japan for a long time. It could be disappointing, and I'll be there with you, you know? I personally was never ecstatic for an Assassin's Creed Japan game, just because I don't really know Japanese history that well. I've never really looked into it too much. But I'm sure if I played a really good Assassin's Creed game set in Japan, I would then be obsessed with Japanese history. I would then, want more of that and stuff like that. So it's just because I don't know too much about it. But I fully understand people that do want to see certain time periods in their Assassin's Creed games, and they want it to be done well. So again, be excited, because that's your right to be excited. But just don't get so excited that if it isn't what you want, you're going to be disappointed, and then you're just going to be upset. It's not worth it. It's not worth the upset just from a bad game. So be excited, be hyped up, but just reserve yourself a little bit. Step off that hype train here and there and think, remember, it could very well be bad, and I don't want to let myself down. But I will be excited. I think that's, again, as I said, the healthy way to look at things. And it's not just games, it's life. Be optimistic about life. Enjoy life. Go into things glass half full, not half empty. But just also remind yourself, as much as optimistic in life as I am, as excited for the future I am, we don't want to forget. It's kind of different with life, I suppose. Yeah, no, I actually kind of take that back, to be honest with you. I take that back because I see life completely differently overall than I do games when it comes to my mentality. With games, you have your cautious optimism. With life, personally, I just like to try to be at least just optimistic, just as optimistic as I can be, because I feel like the more optimistic and excited about life you are, the more you have to be optimistic and excited about. So it's different with life. So I do take that back, because I suppose to an extent you are in control of your own life. I don't know why we're going so philosophical right now. You are in control of your own life to an extent. Whereas with a video game, you're not in control of the development of that game, so it's not really in your control whether it's going to be good or bad. So I guess it's actually very different. And to be honest, I quite like that I have two different mentalities when it comes to life as a whole, and then things like games. I like to be really optimistic in life, really open-minded about anything, and that's just the way I like to live my life. And that comes from someone that didn't used to be like that at all. Growing up as a kid, I was the opposite. I was very skeptical. I was very negative a lot of the time. So I've seen both sides, and I choose positivity all the time. But I like how when it comes to video games, I'm a little bit different. I'm a little bit more skeptical in the way, or cautious skepticism. Skepticism. Oh my god. Skepticism! I got it. Ha! Bloody hell. Bloody hell. That's what English people say sometimes. Bloody hell. Talking about Odyssey really brought out the Socrates in this man. Oh man, you're funny, bro. That's comment of the day, I think. That is comment of the day. And before that you said, somehow made the Industrial Revolution goofy. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They can take something gritty and something that already has its own tone, and they can completely change the tone of it. Now, again, if done well, that's pretty artistic and pretty interesting, but they don't do it well, in my opinion. They just turn it into a corny goofball. And I don't want to play as a corny goofball that goes, don't get up on my account, and assassinates his people. I don't want to do that. I want to play as an assassin that's personality and that's demeanor accurately represents the time period, his or her way of life. Otherwise it kind of just takes me out of it. You telling me, Jacob and Evie Fry are the goofballs that they are, mainly Jacob, but they're murdering people every day. Their job is to literally take the life of another individual, and you're telling me they're just gonna go around like it's nothing, just fuck you, haha, funny man with beard, die. You know what I mean? Then again, maybe if you kill people every day for a living, you do just become psychotic and you do just enjoy it. So maybe it's more accurate than you think. I don't know. I think personally it would really weather you as an individual, and it would actually make you very look at The Last of Us 2, completely different game, but Ellie, This isn't going to spoil anything. It's just the way of, no. Ellie is a very traumatized individual as the game goes on, because she's killing people every day. She's surviving for her life. She gets PTSD. She is an accurate representation of how a human would behave based on the life they live. So if you live as an assassin in the Victorian period of all things, when life was not as easy as it is today, you telling me you're just going to walk around like everything's amazing, singing that Lego movie song, everything is awesome? No, we're not going to sing today. But, you're telling me you're going to walk around like that, just killing everybody every day? I don't know. And I'm not saying everything has to be depressing and sad, or I'm not saying that. I'm just saying just tone it down on the corny jokes that aren't really that funny. Just reading the chat. Odyssey isn't really my cup of tea. It's really hard. It's really hard? Are you saying, like, the combat is hard? Like, the gameplay is difficult? Or are you just saying, it's really hard on me in my life that it isn't the game for me? Have you played the Hitman games? They balance grit and humour really well. Also, The Last of Us 2 is goated in my opinion. I actually haven't played the Hitman games. Not that I don't want to, it's just one of those series of games that I just haven't got around to playing. I've talked about them in videos before as a comparison of stuff. Not that I can remember off the top of my head what I said, but I've talked about it, and I know what the games are like, but I've never personally, played them in depth. I think I might have started Hitman 2, played a few of the reboot, and played a few missions, but I've never fully completed them. And got into what is really good about it. But I would love to at some point. And so it's interesting you say it balances grit and humour. Exactly, you can do it well. You can have that sort of accurate sort of gritty tone, which is good in an Assassin's Creed game because it accurately represents the historic time period as well as this gritty war between factions. But you can also have a few jokes in there, like Ezio goes off and has an orgy, mate. He goes off and, it's alluded to, it's not specifically said, but he pretty much has an orgy. And, I'm sorry. And he's fucking these bitches. Excuse my language, I respect all women, but you know what I'm saying. And it's funny, and he says jokes. That part in the beginning of AC2 where he goes to see Christina, and he's like, oh, she's like, okay, only a minute. He goes, a minute is all I need. And she's like, yes. And he's like, wait, that came out wrong. That's funny. That's a good joke. But it's not all throughout the game. It's here and there. And that makes it funnier. When you don't expect it and it hits you, it's great fun. And it doesn't take away from the tone of the game. And it actually lends into it because at this point, he's a happy-go-lucky individual. And then he's making jokes. And then when it goes into he's more of a seasoned assassin, a lot has happened to him, the jokes are a little bit less, but they're still here because he is still the guy he is. So it lends into the writing, whereas Odyssey's comedy and Syndicate's comedy was, we cannot go 3 pages of writing and dialogue without a joke. And the more we tell the jokes, the worse they get. Then again, my 11-year-old cousin, she will find that so funny. And I won't blame her, because she's a young girl and that sort of thing is funny to you. These assassin Christmas jokes and stuff like that. And don't get up on my account, Ubisoft, if you hear this, please do not put that in a game. I will cry. But, what I'm saying? That's funny for young kids or people like that, but it doesn't appeal to the people that like Assassin's Creed for why they like Assassin's Creed. And then you said, Ashy said, Last of Us 2 was goated in my opinion. I am with you. I just don't understand the hate on The Last of Us 2. I know, I can't say this because I might spoil it for you guys actually. But if those of you who want to play it haven't played, something happens that people were really pissed off about in the story. Okay, but these things happen. It was, the whole story was revolved around this thing that happened. And I think that's what made the story so good. Because we, as the players from the first game and the beginning of the second game, we had this attachment to this thing. So then when this thing happens, the story then is so good because we are also fueled by our sadness and our grief for this thing. It's pretty obvious what it is, but I'm not going to specifically outwardly say it. You know, and that's why it was such a good story, because you were there with the characters. You could feel their emotions. And, you know, just because your favourite thing goes from the story doesn't make it automatically bad. And then you get the people that are just closed-minded as hell and stupid saying, well, because she was a lesbian, they're just trying to push an agenda. No, listen. Some you know, movies, TV shows and games stuff do just try and push an agenda, and you know, and that affects its actual overall writing. But you can't say The Last of Us 2 did that. You know, just because Ellie is a lesbian doesn't mean they're trying to push an agenda, because she's written well. You can make a good story about somebody who is LGBT and it can still be good. Obviously, it doesn't mean as soon as they are that, it's gonna be bad. You know, again, so many people have said this before, and I'm pretty much just echoing what other people have said at this point, but I do agree with this, you know. Just because she was gay doesn't mean it's bad or, you know, intrinsically bad. And it upsets me. It doesn't really upset me, but it's just annoying to see when people think if you're gay, automatically bad within a game. No, it isn't. You can as long as the writing's good, the story's good, and it serves them as a character, makes sense for them as a character. You know, that was the vision the writer had for that character, for her to be gay. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And, you know what? I actually respect her character more because I'm learning more about her. And she's unique, you know? And it was done well. The Last of Us 2 wrote a gay character well. And I'm never going to say anything otherwise, you know? If they wrote her completely... I'll tell you what does kind of push an agenda a little bit more. I'm not saying this is what they were doing, but this is when it's potentially done bad. And I'm not going to give an example, actually, because I don't really think I have any. But, you know, a bad example of pushing an agenda would be, you know, making a character gay, and then they literally just go around, you know, getting with tons of other people of their same gender or whatever, and then they say outwardly to other characters within the game, you're bad because you're not gay, and fuck you, and they're actually against, you know, anything else. That would be, you know, pushing in an agenda and writing LGBT in a bad way. But The Last of Us 2 wrote it in a really good way, a really respectful way, and an interesting way, you know? Anyway, we're going to move on from that. That was a bit of a side note. But anyway, what I'm saying is I don't really get the hate for Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2 was one of my favourite games of all time. Just looking in chat again. I know. We're going to go for probably like 15 more minutes or something, because I have got a few things to do, and then I'm going out again. It's Friday. I'm going out for dinner. I always, not by myself, I always go out with people for dinner on Friday. It's like a thing we do. And I don't want to say who, just because I like to... Sometimes you just got to keep things a little bit, you know, private. Sometimes you guys got to keep things to yourself. That's something I've actually noticed when I've started making videos, because as you guys may or may not have known, I've said this in prior podcast episodes, just because I've been doing videos on this channel for like close to 5 months now, doesn't mean this is the first time I've done it. You know, I've had channels in the past that have had some success, had less success, stuff like that. I've been doing it for like 7 years now. So what I've learned though in the last few years is that I used to just be so open and say everything online. Not like that, but like, you know, I would say a lot of things, and then I'd come to regret it and be like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And it's good to have a little bit of a balance. And if there's any of you watching that make your own videos out, or are planning to make your own videos at any point, this is my advice that I would give. Just, if there's something that you think should stay private, just keep it private, you know? Just keep it to yourself, because it's actually very healthy, I think, to have a little bit of a divide. You know, this is me, and this is also me online, but this is this part of my life that I don't actually intertwine with this other thing. It's healthy to split things up, I think. And that's one thing I've learned, because as I said, we still do it, we just don't do it too much, and it's a bit more of like we just jump on the call, and well, not the call, we actually meet up in person, but we jump on the podcast and we just chat shit, basically, in a fun way. I actually do a podcast with 2 other people, And we started off saying some majorly sort of like open book type things, you know? It started off as a very, and it kind of still is, a very sort of like, you know, we're three guys and we're talking about young life as a young person and what stories happen. What do you get up to? You know, you go out on the weekend and what crazy situation did you get into? Like, we would talk about all this stuff. But then I feel like went a bit too far at some point. Like, sometimes I'd say some things and I look back now and I'm like, oh my god, did I actually say that online? I said about this story no, I'm not even gonna, I can't even say it on here. Like, I would say these things and it would be very explicit, let's say. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. You got to be proud of your experiences. You got to be proud of your confidence, and you got to be proud of the things you do, and that's fine, because it reminds people it's okay to be like that and to be open and to be healthy. But sometimes I would just say things for the sake of saying things, and you know, it's what you'd say to your friends, but then you forget that there's a lot of people watching, and stuff like that. Now, that's the only reason why I've never really promoted that podcast on this channel, because I think, do I really want to like promote it right now? Because like, I've said some pretty down bad things on there, and it's nothing like cancelable, it's nothing like offensive. It's just like, you know, for an example, like, oh, I was with this girl, like, on the weekend, and that's fine. It's very respectable. I would never say who the girl was, or I'd never say, you know, I'd never give anything away, but I just say too much. I'd say, like, oh, and we were doing this, and then, oh my god, this thing happened, and then, like, you know, it's funny. Do you ever do this thing where you have to, like, close your eyes? And it's like, okay, bro, it's funny, but, like, should I have said that? I don't know. It's probably fine. But, you know, sometimes I think you just need to have that sort of separation. Like, yeah, like, you can be open and with your sexuality or with your, you know, things you do in life, but you just want to think about it before you say it, I think. And I definitely do that a lot more now. But yeah, I don't really know what I'm talking about that for. But, hey, it's a podcast. We talk about what we want to talk about, don't we? Have any of you guys got anything else that you want to ask me in chat? You know, Assassin's Creed wise or game wise or anything else wise? I was actually going to say, I am now, I can't say I'm an advocate, but I basically, I used to, for a while I got like addicted to like vaping, you know, like the disposable ones. I think I actually have one here. It's empty. I don't even know why I still have it here. I think I forgot to throw it away. But like these things, wait, can you see? Sorry, I'm getting confused with myself. Yeah, like these things. You know these things? I used to, I got really addicted to them for a while. And I couldn't stop like smoking them. Basically, I used to, like, I don't go out as much as I used to, but I used to go out like to the club or to the bar or whatever, like every weekend with my friends. I do it like once every couple of weeks now. But, you know, after lockdown, you know, it was summer 2021 in England. Lockdown had just ended, the clubs had opened, and you know, they became these new popular thing, these vapes, these disposable vapes. And sure, I'd smoked a ton before in the past, but not properly, you know, just like when I'm drunk. But then I started vaping in the club, because now I don't know about America, but in England nobody cares if you vape indoors. Like if you're in a restaurant, like nah, you can't do that. But like if you're on a night out and you go into the club or you go into a bar, just vape. No one cares. It's actually crazy. It's like the world is going backwards. It's crazy. But anyway, so like it would just be seen as such a normal thing. Like everywhere you go, everyone's vaping or whatever. And then I never got addicted. I'd only do it on the weekends. But then I went on holiday, on vacation, not too long ago. I went to Ibiza. It wasn't a clubbing, like partying holiday like you'd think. I just went with my family. But I went and bought a vape when I was over there, because I'm on holiday. I'm going to have a drink, I'm going to have a vape, I'm going to do it. But then I was vaping every day, like a lot every day. And I got really addicted to it. And then after, it took me a while to stop. I was doing it every day at home. I was like, shit, this is how you get addicted. But I managed to stop, and then I was fine. But then about a month later, I went on another holiday to... See, this is the part where you... Oh, I've already said where I went the first time. It's fine. I went to this place called Lanzarote, which is... It's like off the coast of Africa. It's like an island. And I was there with my cousin, who was on the episode a few weeks ago, actually, Lewis. And we were chilling and we were smoking a lot. You know, we were vaping a lot. And I got seriously addicted after that holiday, mate. Came back to England. I was vaping every day for like ages. And it's only recently, like over Christmas, that I said to myself, this has to stop. And I have stopped. But then, because the main thing that made me stop was I watched this video on YouTube. And it was called, I don't even know what it was called, but it was this video all about the addiction of vaping and how, you know, the smoking industry, the tobacco industry or the nicotine industry, whatever, literally made, this was planned from the start to get this young generation addicted to vaping. And it's actually pretty like unethical and unmoral, and it's pretty evil, to be honest. Like, when you read about all the facts he says and things, they went up 800% in 2021 after lockdown or during lockdown with the vapes. And I swear on my life, you guys can probably attest to this as well. But at least in England, you walk around, mate, you see these young teenagers like 16, 15, they're all walking around vaping. It's crazy. Everybody's addicted. It's crazy. So I thought to myself, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. Let me go. And I got out of it and I don't do it anymore. Now, I'm not addicted to it anymore. It was a few weeks of being pretty like, oh my god, I could do with it vape right now. But then I kind of got over it and I'm okay now. That being said, you know, if I get drunk on a night out, because I've always, since I was like 18, and I'm 22 now, I've always had a little smoke on a night out. And you could say it's a bad thing, but you know, as long as you do it in moderation, like you do with alcohol, you know, it's not a good thing, but it's not going to kill you, you know. I don't condone it though. I don't condone smoking at all, and I would never advocate it for it at all. I would, if I got famous and, you know, a vape thing was trying to sponsor me, I'd just say no, because I just can't. You know, I can't get people addicted to it and like lean into that industry. I couldn't do that. But anyway, you know, I might still, when I'm drunk here and there, like have a vape, you know, just to lend into the night out. But I would never do it just at home like I was for a while. You know, I'm not about that anymore. Yeah, I don't even know why I started talking about that. It was on my mind, man. It was on my mind. Oh, speaking of The Last of Us 2, when we were talking about The Last of Us earlier, have you guys been watching the TV series, bro, it's so good. The TV series of The Last of Us, it's so good. I really liked the last few episodes. Well, I've liked all the episodes so far. I love it. And I think it does respecting the source material well, while also being able to slightly deviate. It's done in a good way, because it still comes back around from what we've seen so far. It still comes back around to the source material and still follows the story closely. It's just for the sake of being in a different format, obviously now TV, you know, it deviates here and there and stuff like that. And also does things in a way that I think I read this thing where Neil Druckmann, the game director and obviously the co-creator of the show, was like, well, there's some things we wanted to do in the game that we couldn't do, but now we can do in the show. And I think that's really cool, you know, being able to do new things while still respecting the source material and it's still making sense. You know, so far, I think all the differences they've made have been done well. Like, they've been done in a way that still leans into the overall theme of The Last of Us, which is, you know, love, and how love survives in a dying world. And that's what the theme was, and they still follow that. Like with Bill and, I forget the other guy's name, but, you know, Bill and the guy he was with. That was such a good episode, and, sure, Bill died. Oh, guy, I'm sorry about spoilers, guys. I am awful. I hope you guys already knew that. I've said it now, haven't I? But, you know, he died before he met Ellie, and in the game, he was in the game for a while with Ellie and stuff like that. But I still think it was done in a good way, because it still Bill furthered the plot. It gave character development to Joel and to him. Sure, yeah, sure, he died, but it lent in, mostly that episode was done in a way to show how love survives in a post-apocalyptic world, as well as to show how the world, it's world building, you know. It was a great episode, and yeah, it was different to the source material slightly, or you could say majorly, but it was done in a way that respects the source material. You know, you can change the source material as long as it's doing it in a way that respects it and brings it back around to that original source material. You know, things like The Witcher TV show. The Witcher is probably one of my favorite things. The Witcher in general, like The Witcher 3 is it's my favorite game of all time. Like, I literally have, I don't know if you can see here because this shirt doesn't really pull up very well, but I have the Witcher 3 signs, like, tattoo. I don't even know if you can see. Can you see that? Let me see it. Yeah, like the Witcher 3 sign. That is Quen, Igni, Erden, Ard, and Axie. You know, I have that. It's pretty nerdy. Like, that shows how much I love the Witcher series. You know, those are the, if you don't know, the signs, which are the basically spells you can cast or powers that you can cast in the game, and obviously in the books they were the same. But then, you know, with the series 2 of The Witcher, season 2. People don't like that because they completely deviated from the source material and was done kind of in a way that didn't really respect the source material. So again, if you want to deviate from the source material, do that, but bring it back around and respect that source material. Don't do what The Witcher did. Now, I actually really loved The Witcher 2 as a series. The Witcher season 2, I actually really liked it, only because I've not read all of the books. I've read a bit of the first book and that's it. So I don't even know the source material. So for all I knew, they were following it. And I didn't specifically, you know, I didn't inherently see them change Geralt to the way that I was like, well, that wouldn't be Geralt. I didn't see anything like that. I thought they followed Geralt as a character. And I thought, you know, when it comes to just story, for all I knew, that is what happened in the book. So I really enjoyed it. Only later did I find out that that is not what happened in the books. And then it kind of... But I still enjoyed it, you know, and I'm still going to enjoy it. And I'm going to watch the Witcher TV series before, and, you know, I'll watch all of the series, all of the seasons, and I'll then read the books after I've watched it, because then at least I can enjoy both things, you know what I mean? But that being said, that's not the point. What I'm saying is, don't do what The Witcher does, where it literally alienates the fans of the original source material by changing it completely and making it a more inferior story. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Ashy says, it's a 10-year-old game. I don't think you're spoiling anything. What, with Last of Us? Yeah, true. I mean, it was kind of more with the series, because I know there's new people watching the series that haven't played the game, that basically spoils episode 2 or episode 3, whatever it was. But, you know, that being said, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, guys, I'm probably going to leave it there for now. We talked mainly about Assassin's Creed with a few things here and there, and I think that was a pretty solid episode. I enjoyed myself. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. You know, just as much as this is my podcast, this is your podcast as well, because you're literally talking with me in the podcast. When you have a podcast with multiple people, you're having conversations, you're talking with one another. That's what a podcast is. That's what I'm doing with you guys. You guys are in the chat talking to me. Everyone can see what you're saying, and I'm responding to you guys, and I'm talking with you guys. So this is literally probably maybe the biggest podcast that has ever existed, because how many of you guys have commented today, or how many of you guys were watching today? We've had 63 views, well, not concurrent, but we've had 63 views overall so far in this episode. That's 63 people on a podcast. That's a lot of people. Anyway, guys, I will leave you guys to it. I've got things to do. I'm sure you've got things to do as well. Love you guys. We'll see you next Friday to stream again, and I'm sure I have an idea for a video, an Assassin's Creed Mirage video that I'm going to make probably before that. I don't know when that'll be coming, sometime next week probably, before Friday. I'm not going to say what it is, but let's just say it is kind of let's just say it's an Assassin's Creed Mirage video. We don't need to say. Ashy, fun stream, enjoy your dinner. Thank you, my friend, thank you. I don't know what time it is for you, wherever you are, but enjoy your day, or your evening, or your afternoon. And that goes for all of you guys watching right now. Enjoy your day and everything like that. I will see you guys soon. Remember, if you want to come back to watch some of this, or you haven't seen all of this episode, so you want to go back, you can watch this episode as it is. You can rewind back, and I'll add timestamps later on when I have time. Or you can listen on Spotify. Alright, guys. I love you guys. I will see you soon. Me, the Fire Understanding Guidance. I will see you soon. Goodbye. Now, Now, I wish it would just end when I said goodbye, but I actually to press end stream. So see you guys later. Peace.